This is like my third attempt at taking this video, so I'm not gonna ramble too long for this video. Like, I did the rambling, and I have grouped together my points, right? So I like the purpose is so necessary in life, right? I've been doing a lot of meditation, and yeah, when you do meditation, the way I do it, the level I do it, like with, I have a lot of spare time right now. Like, so with the amount of spare time I have, then yeah, you come to some crazy conclusions. Like I've been face to face with nihilism, right? Believing in like past life, present life, future life, reincarnation, all that jazz is great. It's not backed by science, but it's different than science, right? Just personal beliefs, and moreover, um, the whole thing with religion, is so, the concept is so backwards, right? Like people worship religion to save themselves. Like, you should worship religion as part of your life. Worship nature as part of your life, rather than having something go wrong in your life and then go like, oh shit, I need to worship God. But anyways, yeah, purpose. I didn't have a clear sense of purpose. That's why I felt so lost. That's why I couldn't break out of habits. That's because I didn't have confidence, didn't have courage, and I'm not a behavioral expert. I'm not gonna go deep into like how different emotion affects courage and discipline and whatever like that. But it's pretty simple, right? Purpose brings a discipline, clarity, and courage, and then with courage you get confidence. And with that you get the energy required to break out of a cycle. Yeah, like, purpose just so important. It's so misunderstood in today's society, right? When you have purpose, the rest of the way will be clear to you. And I'm not gonna make this too long, right? Because a couple more points. There's this thing online called retard maxing. It's great as someone who used to overthink a lot. Right, retard maxing bring me to a more spatial part of my mind, right, where I'm able to see, like, almost from like the mountaintop down all the way, to see like, oh, I just been entangled in like the fucking Ouroboros of overthinking, just going in circles, swallowing itself. And yeah, just not thinking that much, but rather doing a lot. Just like Rick Rubin, do more, think less. Right, which is partially why I revamped my whole room, actually. Right, it's way more neater now. Right, just with the carpet, like in the center with my bed, and with the arts, just a space apart, so they're not jammed together, or like I could do it in different ways, but I chose to cluster it together rather than spread it out. But the thing is, they're not jammed together, right? So it's like office over here, put my notes, and my chair. Because the setup I was in previously, like, that costs way too much clutter in my mind, right? Like, I blame it on all sort of things. I blame it on coffee. I blame it on freaking weed. I blame it on I have nicotine right now, but I blame it on everything. I even blame it on freaking lifting weights, right? Oh, my body don't recover fast enough, so my hormones dropped like this just because trying to do some fucking Huberman Lab science or some shit, right? Just trying to bro science it all, thinking that I'm like fucking Andrew Huberman or some shit. The point is, though, I used to blame everything but myself. It's not that easy because it requires a lot of action. And taking action is actually, it's doing things are easy, accomplishing things, making money is easy, but going from zero to 1 is very easy, actually, but going from 0 to 0.5 is where the challenge fucking lies, right? That's where most people fail. Right, like with me, I tried to quit smoking fucking 700 times now. At that, I failed at that point so many times. It's one thing just saying that I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and it's another thing doing it, right? Because it's very easy to make a plan as to where you want to be in 5 years or something. For example, in a year or two, I want to move out of this place. I want to have a completely different mindset. I don't want to quit smoking. I don't want to quit working out. I don't want to quit caffeine. Because these things helped me in my early 20s. I'm well aware of the fact that if I continue these habits into my 30s and 40s, I'll have big troubles. Big troubles, right? I learned that from family members and quite frankly from people online, right? There's a lot of people actually, I try not to compare actually the good and the bad, right? There's a lot of people out here that freaking go through 2 of these in a week, and no, I don't want to talk about that. I really don't want to talk about that. Ultimately, the goal of this channel is to document my life and improve. So I've been very open-minded and a lot of these stuff, right? And yeah, I'm well aware that like fucking 2 people out there at least watch my freaking channel, right? um, hopefully like hopefully this is useful knowledge, right? Because I mean, a lot of people talk about this, but I'm talking about it from my perspective. Um, yeah, there's no use to there's no use to like there's no necessity to freaking complain about stuff or anything, or even compete with other people, right? Yeah, with a lot of these meditations rituals I do, I've been very my mind been very open, right? Like this is just documenting my life. I'm not facilitating fame or anything. If a video goes viral, great. People can learn about it or whatever. Like, I used to have this fucking bad mindset of, you know what, I'm just gonna yap for as long as I can and then just upload the video straight up. You know, I used to have like a really bad mindset of, like a freaking double mindset, right? Like, oh, I'm trying to get attention, get popular. That just one of my like optional motives, right? But it's not really optional because I really want to. I really want a video to pop off and get that fucking attention. And on the other hand, I'm just like this is. I'm like this is literally saving my life, because I can look back on this, you know, like X amount of years later, right, and see how far I come. And here's the thing about open-mindedness. Right? I've been meditating a lot, and just yeah, sure, that past life stuff is all juicy, it's all great, but do you really know? Like, do people really know what's going on with the soul or whatever, right? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna get too deep into my own beliefs on like whether or not these things well, I think they have some sort of scientific and spiritual basis and personal basis too, but I think like humans are complicated. I think some people actually just pop into existence, and you know what they say, just life is the expression of the universe. So I don't know, some people just pop into existence, and they're like, okay, there's no meaning to life. I don't believe in any spirituality, anything like that. I am just what I am, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, I do have my beliefs on these kind of stuff, but just being open-minded in the fact that, you know, like, sure, I'm doing like all this like fucking writing, I'm like doing some game development, I'm like doing self-growth, you know. Sure, I'm still smoking, but like smoking a lot rather, but like the biggest difference is my mindset, right? Because a few years ago when I was smoking a lot and just having a really like purposeless mindset, my life was no, like no, you know, no. Um, because I can set goals for myself. I want to go to MIT. I want to become this. I want to make X amount of money. I want to do all that. But the thing is, do I really know what's gonna happen in life? Do I really? I don't have control over my life. Like a lot of things that happen to me that I learn life from. Right, a lot of these life lessons. Well, they happen out of my control, like 100% out of my control. Like, for example, I think this is gonna happen for sure, but something else fucking happens, and I have no explanation for it whatsoever. No logical explanation, nothing. Like, even if I be delusional with my thinking, with my thought process, it doesn't really fit the lack of better words, like the synchronicities that happens, the the ironic ways that something happened. Like, I can't explain it. It's almost like there's a fucking ghost behind me, and they're listening to whatever I'm saying, and they're like, okay, like they're literally like, okay, and some things I literally just speak into existence. It's weird, right? But alright, I think I lost the point a little bit, but the main point of what I'm trying to make is, I don't know what's gonna happen. For all I know, all my studying I do, everything I do, it could just be for nothing in this life, right? I can just die in 5 days from now, 5 days after I upload this video. Right, something can go extremely well in like 5 days, and I could be literally dead. And I just have to accept that. Like, I accepted the fact that, sure, in this life I have memories of past life, of X, Y, and Z, of how I want my life to be in the future, plans, whatever. I don't have any serious health problems. In fact, I got something of a iron lung, which is not a good thing, because people that have like a good capacity for handling smoke, smoker's lung, right? Those people, sure, they can smoke a lot, sure, like, these things are not gonna really affect them that much, but the risk of cancer for people like me are always higher, and I'm so aware of this, right? And yeah, the beginning of change only come from awareness. So, I gotta be patient with myself, which is hard to have sometimes. Yeah, just accepting the fact that anything can happen. Like, what I know in this life does not necessarily carry on to the next life. Like, I used to think that this was my last life here. I learned my lesson. After this, I'm gonna go to like the great beyonds and just fuck off and have a great time over there. But no. I have a lot of attachments to this place that we call Earth right here, and this just sounds crazy, but that's not my last life. Next life, I don't know what I will be. I don't know if I will even spawn in the same reality as this one. Maybe I'll be born in a reality where there's no Elon Musk, there's no NASA, there's like, we never went to space, something like that. And I don't know. I used to overthink. I used to freaking just smoke this and just overthink my ass off about these type of topics. And it's only recently within this year, within like these 2 years, ever since 24, these 2 years of partial isolation and intense isolation and a lot of meditation, just come to accept the fact that I don't have control over shit. Like, I can literally become a millionaire by the end of this week and be dead by the end of this month, and if that does happen, like, a lot of people will be like, a lot of people who pick up on the story of, my passing, right? They'll be like, I don't know, they'll make up a lot of rumors. I don't know, there was a point I was trying to make about how people perceive you, but I lost thoughts of that. But anyways, I'm gonna just end this right here, because I do have to clean my room, and I do have to live my life. A lot of my realizations so all this actually ties back to the main theme of this video, which is just purpose. So I'm just gonna end this off right here before I ramble. Purpose is something that you have to create, right? That's gonna be the title of this video actually, because like I think fundamentally people get the fact that the universe just fucking hands you a purpose. I used to actually believe that until I realized how absurd it is, how life is different for everybody, and the universe literally plays with you. So for me, I beat myself a lot to the point where I'm just used to it. If other people say something to me, like something mean to me, whatever, that could ruin my day, but like ultimately it's not gonna impact me that much. Right, day ruin, but at the end of the day, day ruin, but I have nighttime, so nighttime I'll most likely, if my day was ruined, at night I'll most likely reflect over my day and come to a conclusion that there's no use. There's no use being angry about things, right? That's the most simple way I can put it. Like, right. Yeah, I do spend a lot of my time thinking, actually. Yeah, just weed is scattering my thoughts a little bit, but I love this feeling because it brings my mind and bring my mind into like a free form, like flow state. But the problem is, it's a vape. I don't live in like Amsterdam or like California or like Amazon or like the freaking the Wii labs at the ISS. You know what I mean? So I don't have access to like premium quality stuff. And also, dude, I mean, okay, this is really important and having to do with purpose, right? Once again, this ties all back to everything. Dude, whoever you are, if you made it to this point, if you can actually take in my rambling and take away something, great. You don't even have to subscribe, you don't even have to thumb up. I just want to make an impact, you know. So it has to do with like a purpose, right? You realize that when you have purpose, you realize how much your environment actually matters, right? I was saying about like ISS, International Space Station, about California, about Amsterdam, about these like really cutting edge places, frankly, right? In terms of policy, engineering, and stuff like that, right? Obviously, California is not perfect, and places like Amsterdam is not perfect. Up there in the space station, even if people do smoke weed over there, they still have to like do a lot of stuff. It's not like smoke weed and chill. But when you do have purpose, you realize your environment can make you into someone who will fulfill that purpose, or make you into someone who will resent yourself for having that purpose. This is extremely important because if you're in an environment that facilitates growth, like a really open-minded university, I say open-minded because you do have to monopolize on all different aspects of life. You can't be you can't be hard-headed with how you perceive the world. I used to be so hard-headed about how I perceive the world. Like, I'm gonna use the example of cannabis a lot because this is like my life, right? I used to think I was the biggest loser because I'm an Asian kid with glasses, and it's quite frankly nerdy, and I'm smoking weed, so I think I'm a fucking loser. But right, I'm not gonna get off track here because okay, your environment, like you grew up in an environment that facilitates growth, that's open-minded, that's takes in all different kind of perspectives, and because of that, you know, even if you were to do something like, I don't know, like goon around, freaking smoke, have some like slobby habits, people will bring you into accountability, and your environment will force you to become responsible. Um, well, it have most people anyways, because most people actually want to get somewhere they really want to be, and yeah, they're gonna change themselves in a good environment. I could put this in more, frankly, more professional terms, right? But I'm just gonna move on to the second example. Being in an environment where you will resent having a purpose, because it will cause you so much pain that you resent it. And I'm gonna explain why. So, for example, my environment, right? Like, I'm not in a good environment right now. I'm not afraid to share my living situation, quite frankly, because it's so stupid. I don't really care. If I live in a mansion, I'll show the biggest part of it. If I live in like a shitty crap hole like right now, like, I'll show it, right? I'm gonna show it. And in future videos too, like, it's not the only video that I'll record, obviously, but I can show the world how, or at least the internet, how fucking crappy the situation here really is. Like, it doesn't look crappy, but it's out of a 10, it's like a 6. Anyways, just my environment right here, because it's not a good environment, it can cause me to resent my purpose after I decide to abandon my purpose, because my environment caused me this strange comfort, like Stockholm syndrome, right? Like you're being held hostage, but you kind of like it. Like, it's like a weird kink in a way, right? Because it's very easy to go down this spiral of oh, I'm not enough, I'll never be enough, look at my situation right now, like, I'm not where I want to be, and you abandon your dreams, abandon your purpose. Then you start resenting the fact you even had a purpose at all, or the fact that you even chased the purpose, and you start to overthink. And I'm not gonna go into that territory. Like, I'm not gonna explore this in detail. Just two outcomes. Right? Basically, two outcomes. One, you can just I can blame my environment. I can get comfortable in my environment because there's nobody to push me, and then I just abandon my purpose. I lose my sense of purpose. I start overthinking, blaming the world and whatever. Another one, outcome. Well, there's an upside to that though, because you can lift yourself out of that. Most definitely, you can lift yourself out of that situation just by not by not resenting. Obviously, this is easier said than done, but I'm just pointing out the fact that, finding yourself in the situation that I just described is not totally hopeless. I've been there before, right? And actually, I'm here right now, and it's not totally hopeless. I still have a lot of hope. The other one is, you're in a good environment. It just because of that you are able to grow. But the downside of that is you can also get too comfortable, and lose touch with the fundamental nature of things. Right? So for example, this is probably the last point I'm gonna make before I just, because this is getting long, it'll take me like an hour to upload this. But I know when I was going to college, that almost I was almost there for 2 years. I switched my major like freaking 3 times. I noticed myself like becoming dumber because I stopped questioning things. Right. Also, I was spending a lot of time alone. It was just this weird, like a lot of weird things just happened. I'm not just particularly the university's fault, or in this case, a college's fault. Right. Obviously, like there's some things in my own personal life that affect the way I thought about things. But while I was in college, I noticed myself getting a little bit dumber and just stopped questioning things because everything just grouped into curriculums, right? And well, let's just face it, most people are not gonna go out their way to like study the given curriculum, and then go ahead and study something else. And I was one of them, right? Like I didn't want to do that. So I was just following the curriculum, and I wasn't questioning anything. And I got so dull in my mind, right? It was bad. I was like subscribing to a lot of conspiracy theories, and doing a lot of other things that, quite frankly, was a blessing in disguise, but also it fucked me up real bad. Okay, that's it. I just talked for 40 minutes. Actually, I talked for like almost 2 hours. Right. Also, again, everything ties back into the theme of the video, right? You have to have purpose. Because when you have purpose, you will not act from the ego. You will not be like, oh my god, look at that guy, he's a billionaire, he has like this plane, that car, that girlfriend, or that wife, or like how many fucking wives you have, and I want to be like him. No, when you have purpose, you act from purpose. Like there's a lot of people giving lectures and whatever, on YouTube and universities and whatever, and Am I one of them? Not really. But like also I don't really care. I actually never thought about that point until now, and I don't know, I just don't think about it like that because I think it's my purpose to share with the internet about the small amount of knowledge I do know, because ultimately, I mean, I do study a lot of things. I can consolidate my time more effectively, but like that's another thing too. The more you study, the more you realize you don't know. Like there's always the question of why, 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 why. You know, it's annoying, but ultimately it's very necessary to push the world forward. You know, just asking why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? That's innovation. Yeah. So yeah, when you have purpose, it's very easy to act from purpose, right? Rather acting from ego, where you're just trying to show off. You're trying to like farm other people's attention so you feel good about yourself. This video is 42 minutes long. I've been speaking for like 2 hours. But yeah, you have to have purpose. You have to have purpose.